Welcome, everyone. Dr. Thor here, the man who talks to machines, the man who knows gnosis, is here to show you the way to be able to control every aspect of your life, manifest all your desires. It is possible. It can be done with the right technologies and the right training. But do remember the caveat to all that stuff is remember, these are not magic lamps. This is not some fantasy technology where you rub the side of the machine. Ooh, genie, bring me. No, it doesn't work like that. Life isn't like that, unfortunately, nor will technology ever get to that level because that would change life entirely. But the fact is that within your own life and creating your own channels to bring things to you, you can pretty much manifest everything you need in life and beyond if you're using the right technology. But everybody's life is different and everything else. So if it was a magic lamp that you rub the side of it, I'd be rubbing it right now and this would be a blank video. So it doesn't work like that, but you can change your life and your life is different than everybody else. The level of success that you can reach is going to be different than someone else depending on how you can bring things to you. So all of this is part of it. That has to be, of course, the caveat to things so it doesn't sound ridiculous that someone can pop something up in front of you. That is Hollywood. Hollywood is not real. How many people know that? Well, I don't think a lot of people do. Because if you listen to the nonsense that people buy that have given you foolish promises, well, it looks like you're a sucker. At least a lot of people are. So how does this technology work? Now, let's start with, of course, the premium technology available at this time, which is my box system. It's a simple box. That's all it needs. You have your, basically your symbolic radionic device. There's all sorts of patterns built in here that energize this into making it a manifesting technology, a drawing to you technology, etc. You then put inside this box, there's nothing in here now, of a particular disc. These discs are, have the codes in them to actually create, to bring to you what you want. So if you want money or something, you would put that in there. You'd put your money disc. You want health, you put health in there. You want protection, you put protection in there. It's all part of the process. So that's your main unit, but that is in itself can start the manifesting process, and that gives you a lot of empowerment, and will start you going. That's your basic survival unit, what you start off with, but it is not powerful because it's based only on your untrained, unempowered mind. Now, you need to do psychic gym techniques, occult gym techniques to build your psychic powers, as well as using something like that. But that still isn't enough. You need to use transmutated tube electronics. And these vary in their power. This is our base model, but this has an amazing power level for the cost and everything else. This gives you 80 watts of power through the tubes and through the particular device here. So that's the beauty of modern electronics, is they tend to be pretty damn good particularly for our uses or for the uses of scalar waves for low prices. You don't have to get a $4,000 amplifier to use it for basic purposes. Getting this, and this is an add-on. The whole idea of this entire thing is this is an add-on to show you how to upgrade if you have any unit. Now, there are thousands of units out there. Most of them look like these old style. Of course, using dials and tuning all that stuff in, that's passe. Are you still riding a horse? Well, that's what you're doing when you're dialing in. And these dials have some purposes for professionals, but in general, you don't need that. You don't need a dial unit, period. You can get your own numbers through simple dowsing and other things. These are crutches. They don't do anything. You have your in plate up here, your out plate. You're not getting any kind of amplification through this circuit whatsoever, except a tiny little bit because of the structure of it. But it's not really enough to do anything. Most machines are built with lead and aluminum and other junk. You know, this is a machine I manufactured years ago. Gold-filled wiring, copper plates. Even the screws, as you can see up here, are copper. So we try to do things and keep it in a realm of flowing energy better. But most people don't. They use toxic aluminums. They'll put garbage in there. God forbid they put some really garbage organite in there that will toxify everything. But this is a nice small unit, your typical upgrades. This is reasonably priced. These things generally last a lifetime. Of course, you're going to have to change well, you don't really change the tubes anymore. That's old science. Generally, your tubes now, and the testing we've done over the last few years, these will last a lifetime. We recommend that about every 5 to 6 years you change your tubes out just to make sure they're working at maximum. But scalar energies are not like phonograph energy or general music energies that require perfect amplification that you can recognize. Scalar fields, we're just using them as a carrier wave, and only tubes will do it. Now, again, this is a tube amplifier that is very good for pretty much 90% of the population out there. This will give you the edge above any other machine. Again, you can add this, basically these two systems. You have this 80-watt amplifier, and then you have a very powerful transmitter. And the energy then goes from here into from whatever unit this is, goes into your amplifier, amplifies it, transfers it over to here, and this kind of shoots it out into the universe. This way, the energies are not just stored in this basically quantum physics connection reality only. We try and deal with the fact of the real world as well, which is a physical reality, but not in the electronic, or I should say, electromagnetic spectrum. So we want to use the scalar energy fields, but we want to use them in a physical manner as well. Just get the energy out there. Let's get the energy in the universe. And of course, the quantum physics reality of that is that it will transfer it as well that way. But, keeping it stuck in one little area is not ideal. You want to get it out there. And this will also pick up, if there is any aspect to the electromagnetic, these machines will pick that up as well. So you're really covering both areas. Now, electromagnetism is not part of manifestation energies in general. Or I should say it's minor and really not relevant. So it's probably 2 or 3%. But whatever it is and whatever's going on there, I like to cover every possible energy aspect that I can. So it does pick up some of that as well because you're using electromagnetism. But we're not using by electromagnetism transmuted devices. Now, these are all transmuted. They're all changed by energy discs that we put on them. So how does it work? Well, the bottom line is that when you get an upgraded system, you take whatever unit you have. Of course, we've had units like this that we've been selling for many years, where you have the box, you have these two units, and that's a complete system unto itself. We have much more powerful systems now and easier systems, but if you have any type of radionic device out there, and it doesn't matter who makes it or anything else, you can easily amplify it and get 80 watts of power. That's a huge amount of power, and you can get the energy out into the universe by using a transmitter, and all of these things last a lifetime and are or last many, many years. I mean, all these units, rarely have I found that they break down. So they're going to last 10, 20, 30 years, whatever it may be. And of course, these things, as I said, this is 80 watts of power. And of course, this has an input on the back here. You'll see it says 24 volts. So, it requires that. The other nice thing about this unit, it has a USB. Now, we're going to have special types of scalar energies that you can put in the USB here that you can use as well. It also has an optic wire, which means we can send photons in this. So all the stuff that we're going to be coming out in the future, this upgrade also takes care of that. So you're not going to have to buy a new unit to use our new technology that's coming out. The transmitter is really unique as well because it has a USB on it right here. So you can plug a USB in here, which will be a special transmutated type of USB, and that will be able to send information through this unit, which again, it will broadcast. And this is a type of amplification again. When you actually transmit something, you're grabbing it and you're transmitting at a certain wattage level. Now, this goes up to 7 watts. You can put it up that high. So that's very, very important as well. So this is another type. When you move the energy into here, you're getting another type of amplification, which is very important. So it's all about amplification. Everybody who has a brain knows that. Hieronymus, who everybody seems to give credit to, he amplified his stuff with tubes initially and then solid state. He even had an antenna on a lot of his units as well, so he could draw in and send out energy. Just makes sense. Let's cover everything, and let's make sure you get the highest possible power going that we can. Now, the transmitter, and of course, the way you would set this up and so forth, your transmitter comes with a regular antenna here. That goes on your typical type of antenna this way, and of course, you connect it there. They also come with a few other, I think this comes with a, of course, you don't really use that. Comes with a little, everything's got a control right now. And so you're able to adjust there. And this can be adjusted to a frequency, which would be that transmit out there, very similar to what would be a radio dialing. So you can dial it into 99.7, etc. And generally, you want to set yours to 999. We have 999 on here. And this is an actual transmitter, and it's relatively strong. So you set it to something that most likely is not going to interfere anywhere, or a local station doesn't have it. But generally, these are not strong enough to interfere with much of anything unless it's extremely close. So you have that here. Now, there's no wires. Everything is done through the process of actually without wires, because wires slow down and don't carry scalar energy unless they're very particular types of wires, which I will be showing you in some advanced units, but you don't need them. The transferring disks do all that work. So what you get is that every unit, no matter what it is, will have an activation disk. So this is the activator for transmitter EL15S. And this, of course, goes, and you have your codes here. This is your number representation of an energy code. And as such, this is very important to activate the transmutation process in here. And there's lots of other things underneath this design or other designs, or special, what we would call sigils or shaped vibrational energies that will activate the circuit in here. On the other side, there's also special tones, frequencies, and usually based in musical type tones, is what I like to call them, to activate the transmutation process here. So this makes this machine grab scalar energies. This is basically a transferring, this transfers the energy out of the unit. Now, we like to use the disk as well because they're much more powerful than the antenna, etc. But you have the antenna where the energy comes out as well. But every unit will have these two disks, and you just have to find. Let me find the actual. You just have to find that when you get your particular unit. So each one of these has a particular type of disk. Now, I'm not going to take these out of the boxes and show discs or anything, but this is for this particular unit here. This is for this amplifier. So this is the activation. You take it out of the box, and you put it on there. Then you're going to use what would be the energy transfer disk. And again, there's all sorts of stuff embedded underneath this, and certain particular types. The only way to describe them is frequencies, but there's a lot of other things in here that are proprietary to me that are in here. Then you put that on top of it. So now you have the disk. This disk will send the energy over to here. This is transmutated so that this unit will be able to pick up the energy coming from here. So this is transmutated. so that it picks up the scalar energies from whatever the main is coming from. It sends it over to here, and then this grabs it and then sends it out. It's as simple as that. It's very, very simple, and that's how you would set it up. Each particular unit, you're going to get a particular disc for. This unit, you get a broadcasting disc. This is the activation disc for whatever unit you have. And you're going to get another one of these discs. This disc then goes on top of it. Now, as I said, I'm not taking them out of the cases, but you would, because you'd only use the discs. You're not using the case for it. So you have that, and you put this on top of it. That disc transfers the energy to here. The red disc here transfers it to here, and the red disc that should be under here. I think we have. Let's see that. We'll use the case here. So basically, without taking them out of the cases, it would look like this. You have your basic broadcast disc, your transfer energy disc, you have your activation disc, which is here, you have your transfer energy disc, you have your activation disc at the bottom here, you have your transfer energy disc here. You are now done. Now the energy that you produce here will be amplified over here. It will be sent over here, and you are set. You would use your machine. You would still use the same way. So you're going to put any of your witnesses are going to end up here, because the energy from these machines, this is the out plate. So whatever you tune in goes out here, but of course now it's going to be amplified, sent here, and then you're going to have that circle that goes on to amplify that energy. So this would be tuned exactly the same. Any machine you use it exactly the same. The only thing different is you're sending the energy to be amplified, and there are no wires anymore. All that wiring stuff is bogus. We're not dealing with electromagnetic. We don't need wires. I hope everybody gets that. So, very important that you understand that. That's it. Now, you can amplify anything this way. You just need to get your amplification transmutated tools. You need to get the, and there may be several types of these that are available depending on what. We have very large ones you can get. This is your basic 80-watt unit that we have. This is a very fine transmitter. And you can use this with anything. So this is your base model, but it's very powerful for just about everybody out there can use this. Anything less than this, we've tried several different amplifiers. They are just a little bit too weak. They're not appropriate for this type. So this is really the best unit to have in general, giving you that 80 watts of power. These are fine units. I've used them for years. They work really well. They last for a long time. It's easy to change the tubes in and out if you had to, but these last indefinitely. The stuff that tubes burn out and everything else, this is pretty rare and not the case with tube units much anymore. You just don't have to do that. They last for years and years. As I've mentioned, I usually tell people after 5 years or so, well, you may want to change your tubes out to make sure that you're getting optimum out of them, but generally that is not needed. But it's as simple as that. So it doesn't matter what unit you have. If you have a box of mine, that goes on top of it. What else do we got around here? It doesn't matter what unit you have. You can amplify it with it. It can be old, it can be new, it can be anything out there. The only thing we recommend people not doing and is anyway amplifying any kind of orgonite, because this is toxic. We do have a clearing disc for orgonite, which you can use there. That brings down the energy quite a bit from its toxic level, but it's just not a good idea. You're dealing with very nasty energies. Here's an old unit. An old Lord's Industry 6-dial unit. Same thing. You just put it on the disc. It doesn't matter what you have. Even if your unit is electronic, even if you have some of the more expensive units that are out there, things like the box of garbage called the SE5, you can put that on top of there. No matter what unit you had, any type of these manifesting units that you have, all you've got to do is have this set up right here and you're done. They plug in, obviously. You've got to plug everything in the back. This is 24 volts. This is 12 volts. They obviously plug in. You want to set this, which is set up here by the inputs. I don't have these connected right now, but you would. Right at the top here is the input, and you'll see how these lights move over, and you really want to put this on optic to actually is the where it would be working in. So you push this button until you get to optic. This should be set on 999. And you should set the actual power of this unit. We tell people to start off low. You should probably set this on what would be considered 2 watts of power. It usually goes up to 7. It depends which unit you get. It can be anywhere from 5 to 7 with a lot of these units. I would set it on 2. You don't really need more than that for the purposes we're doing with it. But it's probably best not to have it on its highest level. That's quite a bit of actual transmitting energy. So it's not recommended to do that. Put it on 2, you're fine. Connect your antenna, everything plugs in. And then you're ready to go. So it's very, very simple to use, very easy to use. You just place those 2 discs. Every unit will have an activator disc and it will have a transmitting disc. Activator disc for this model, activator disc for the transmitter, and of course you have a regular broadcast disc for here, which is an general activating disc, and they all have, of course, the energy transfer disc, which all look like this. And you put that underneath, and this is causing that flow like this, and then causing the unit. But generally, this unit will work, or whatever your primary unit is, you keep it exactly the same you always have. So there are thousands of similar units like this with different dials. So you're going to leave this in the same way. You're going to have your, your input and output, and you're going to leave your pictures and whatever you're using, your witnesses, ultimately go here because that's where the energy is coming out. They may start here, but they always go over here if you know what you're doing radionically. So you use this unit the same, whatever it is you have, and you're just hooking up amplification to it. It's as simple as that, as you would hook up an amplifier to what would be any type of a stereo system, when you have the basic stereo system, and then you amplify it. So it's as simple as that. But the process is super easy. That's it. It's all done. You don't do anything else. Once you have all this set up, it's done. You just leave it plugged in and running, and you will use your main unit here, changes as your needs. This, of course, would have whatever disc in there. So if it's protection you need, if it's money, if whatever it may be, you change the discs that are in here. And of course, this is how the system works. And we just work on the actual energetic informational fields that are produced by the discs themselves. We don't need to tune anything. I've done all that work for you, and I've even created a process where they work better. And usually, most of our new discs now have 3 rates on them, and they have all the other things, the rates, the sigils, the special tones, and other things I put in the disc itself, most of which is undetectable, as is when you look at something, it is not, it's not the image you see on it. There's all sorts of other things in there. I generally put a pleasing image on the discs, but that is not the data that's in them. That's only part of the process. And as I've mentioned, we found that using one single rate of 9 dials, or whether it's 9 or 12 or whatever, is not very efficient. You need at least 3 9-dial rates that you're using. So 3 energetic informational number representations of that. So a rate, basically, let's say you were using it for protection. If you got 9 numbers on that, that would represent that energy field for protection. And it's represented by a number, which is something that modern society uses. It would be better if you used actually images. Certain shapes would be better than using numbers, and we're working on systems like that, but that's way too advanced for the average mind of today. So the whole idea is, in most of mankind, what they do is they transmute everything, or change over, or describe things through the use of some sort of numbers. That's what physicists do, and you see their calculations and everything else. And what do they have? Well, they have a bunch of numbers, but they also have a bunch of basically what we could call glyphs. Glyphs are, again, shapes that mean something. Just as we use the plus sign or the X or the cross, however you want to look at it, as to represent something that is plus. So that is not a number. It is basically a symbol to tell you that this means add together or plus or additional to. If you used a minus sign, that would be minus from or a multiplication, etc. So these are actual sigils that tell you what to do. And of course, physicists do this all the time. That's what advanced math is all about. So basically, when you use what's considered an informational energetic rate code or rate, the number represents whatever that is. And that could, as I've mentioned, could be anything: love, protection, prosperity, whatever it may be. That's what it means, and that's how that system works. That's all you do with a traditional radionic device. The reason they have dials on there is you're trying to get your representation of whatever that energy field you are seeking, and that's represented by the number of dials and the numbers on it. So I don't know if everybody got that or not, but you probably should play that back over and over again so you understand that, because that's the essence of traditional dial radionics, which is completely outdated now in general. So, but there's much more to it if you want to get results, because life is more than just number codes. You need much more energetic stimulation than that. Life ultimately, while you're using codes like this, and that's what they are, it's a code. A number means something else, just like a word means something else. Now we have, I don't know how many languages there are out there, but there are hundreds, possibly several hundred languages. Maybe there's thousands languages out there that will say something verbally different than another language. They will also write it differently. They will use certain pictographic or alphabetical type images to spell out or put together to mean something else. But what does it all boil down to? And that's why symbols are better. It all boils down to whatever you were talking about. So if you go to any culture, to any language, and you bring them whatever that object is, let's say a bird, the bottom line is that everybody takes their codes, which could be sounds, such as speaking it, could be letters, which you combine, or pictographs, to mean what? Well, you're going to say something that means bird. So in the end, it's the actual image that we're describing in whatever cultural biases we have. And that's what it really comes down to. So very important to understand that, and that's why you want to use as many shape vibrational energies as you can, because everything really comes down, in the end, no matter what the person says or how they spell it, what flashes in your mind will be the picture of that bird, regardless of whether it's in Polish, Russian, Spanish, whatever it may be. Ultimately, in the end, that code means bird. And that's how your mind works, and that's why it's so important to always use images and other things. And I've built so much of this technology and everything into these discs, which is why they work so well. And they work fantastically well. Every day I get emails of people saying how well the systems have worked for them, how their life has changed, how they've taken care of every possible problem you can think of in their lives. All of those things have happened with my technology, and people have went from basically in extreme situations, they've went from the brink of death to coming back to normal. This just happened recently with some work that I did. So it's fantastic. This is the powers in your hands to take complete control of your life, and this will make radical changes in your life. Again, this is not a magic lamp. That's Hollywood. You're not going to rub it or put numbers in there and something pops up in front of you. You're going to build informational, energetic fields around you or open up blockages in your life. But these fields that build around you will draw to you what you desire. Do you need a job? Do you need more money? Do you want to meet people? You can create that energy around you. Why are other people more successful? Why do other people seem to have a certain, quote, charisma? They have these energy fields around them normally. Now, this is pretty rare, but there are some people that you meet instantly. Why do you like them? Well, there's no really reason to like them. You don't even know them. So all of that goes with that because everybody's multi-phase. Why is that? Well, they have this energy around them. Why are some people seen to be so wealthier than others? Well, there's a lot of factors involved in this, and it's not easy to that. But a lot of people are extremely draw in things. If you look at the people who are the wealthiest, that's because other people help them. Elon Musk was paid, I don't know, $30 million for a junky little website, a big con game in my book. But someone came to him and told him, well, we should put the yellow pages online. And that's what he did. It wasn't his idea. I don't think it was even most of his tech. But this other person came to him. That turned into a city site, and that turned into $300 million. Let's get real. Apple got the mouse was given to them by Intel. Intel had this weird product that they could move in a computer screen. And when Apple went and visited them, they said, look, we got this cool little thing here we don't know what to do with. They took the mouse, which revolutionized Windows, etc. This is what happens. Is that smart? Is that because they were rich? Is that because of that? No, that was because they had energy around them that drew to them opportunities. And life is also about opportunities, not manifesting a bowl of money in front of you. So do keep that in mind. Nothing out there is a magic lamp. If it would, the entire society would be completely destroyed and nothing would have value. On the other hand, people who are successful and everything else have ins, not only politically and knowing people and access to capital. They're not any smarter than you, and they're probably stupider. One thing they do have is connections, and to a degree, connections is energy. And in general, if you meet somebody out of the blue, or you go to a place and they give you something for free or tell you some information, well, this is because you have energy around them, and the person you're dealing with was susceptible to that, and they wanted to help you. And by helping you, they gave you very valuable information, etc. This is critically important. That's what this technology does. It builds an energy field around you that will draw to you what you need in every single area of your life. It also will start opening up blockages in your life. This is a big problem with people. Everybody's blocked. Everybody's crossed. You need to uncross yourself and unblock yourself so that these energies can come to you. This is all part of the process. And your life is different. Some people get instantaneous results. Other people work for months or even years to break through their personal blockages that surround them because they have super bad negative energy. They may be cursed. There's all sorts of problems that are causing failures in your life. And you need to eradicate those. You need to open up your blockages and move ahead. So it depends. If you're in a terrible business area and you need to make more money or you need to break into a business that's difficult, well, it's going to be difficult. It's not going to make you do it. What I call make tech is something I'm working on where all the forces make it happen. This, of course, is magic lamp technology, and as such, is very difficult and near impossible to achieve. But if you break through, if you clear out your blockages, your life will dramatically improve and you will bring everything that you need to your life. I've seen this time and time again, from life-threatening situations to people making large amounts of money, and it can go on to every single area. But it's not, you're not going to rub the side of the box here. Ooh, bring me a pot of gold. That's not going to happen. If you think like that, you're missing the point. Now, other people may lie to you and tell you that their machines create all these things. They're lying to you. They're con artists. Anybody that has a magic lamp would never share it, and that includes me as well. So I hope you've understand that. Listen to these 3 different parts over and over again. Get the concepts of it. This is the next level tech. It's next level. It's not waiting to be developed. It's all developed and ready to be offered, and it will be coming to a theater near you soon. So stay tuned.